It's never good news to hear that your plant has been sold and the new owner intends to shut down the facility and move production to another location. But what if you had never belonged to a union and you had a chance to move with your job and become a union member? This was the difficult situation facing workers at John Middleton in 2007. Ulterior parent company of Philip Morris acquired John Middleton, Inc., maker of the large cigars under the Black & Mild brand. At the time of the deal, Middleton had two manufacturing facilities, one in Limerick and one in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. But it wasn't until July 2017 that Philip Morris announced the closing of both Pennsylvania facilities and to move the production to Richmond, Virginia facility, where workers are represented by BCTGM Local 203T. At the same time, Philip Morris shut down its U.S. tobacco facility, a chewing tobacco plant in Franklin Park, Illinois, and also moved the production to Richmond. At the time of the transfer of this production, the company did not accrete the production workers into Local 203T bargaining unit. The workers had to be organized, and in December 2017, International Representative Randy Falk and former Local 203 Principal Officer and BCTGM General Executive Board member Butch Henley presented management of Philip Morris with the proof that Local 203T had the support of a majority of the new employees and asked the company to recognize the union as the official bargaining representatives of John Middleton and U.S. tobacco workers. Since receiving recognition, Local 203T has successfully negotiated two collective bargaining agreements. John Middleton employees and U.S. tobacco employees have their own collective bargaining agreements. Meanwhile, Philip Morris recently completed the second line for Black & Mild cigars, and the third line is also being planned, which further adds to the ranks of Local 203T. And how does it feel to be a union member after working non-union for so many years? Listen to the words of Local 203T members from John Middleton, Lindell Williams and Sean Wilson.
First off, I'd like to start off by saying what we've looked at all day long. That's our facility there, and that's the one and only Randy Falk that's the best contract negotiator probably in the room. And the arbitrator, too. Philip Morris knows him well. I think his record in the last 7, he's won 6. So he opens up a can of, you fill the rest. Those two right there are two new employees that moved from Middleton. And the one to the far right, that's Shrek. I mean, that's Richard Davis. That's our president. So that looks a lot like Shrek, but love him to death. He's my brother. I want to talk a little bit about Butch Henley. And he's not here today. I spoke to him earlier. He's not doing bad. He's at the beach in North Carolina, relaxed, and he's retired now. But Butch played a large part, a huge part in organizing this. Butch knew in February of this year he was going to retire. And most people that get to the point of 39 years service of this international, Butch worked his way up from a union rep to a committee man to the vice president, 10 years. Served as president of our local and 10 years on the executive board for the international. Most people that knew that the light was getting brighter at the end of the tunnel would have just rode off into the sunset. But this guy, he didn't do any of that. He was in the factory at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, marching back there to Bay 8 where Middleton and UST was, where the company put that production at, and stayed to 7 o'clock at night. He was determined that he was going to get this organized and whatnot and to be able to report to these fine gentlemen right here that he was able to do that. So that was something that he set out to do, and he did it. And I can't say enough about Butch. And like I say, not everybody would have done that knowing that their expiration date would have been 2/1 of 18. Not only did he do that, in January, less than 2 weeks before he retired, he was determined that he was going to get these people a contract, as John just stated. And he did. Along with Randy Falk, Butch Henley, Keith Morris, Romel Edmondson, my sister that's sitting beside me today, and myself. We sit there and we negotiated a contract, and it's like John just spoke, the smile on these people's faces. We were able to get over $2 an hour raise for them. We got benefits that they didn't have before. We got holidays that they didn't have before. They didn't have a grievance procedure. We got things that they didn't even know anything about that they were eligible for and thankful for. So again, with that said, again, he's on a beach somewhere in North Carolina, so don't feel too bad about him. Spoke with him earlier. And again, I'd just like to thank Butch and everybody that played a part in that. And You know, one other thing I'd like to say, out of the 65 new employees that we were able to organize, we got 98% that said yes. They didn't say yes, they said hell yes, we want to join the union. And and when we presented that contract, we got 98% people that said yes. So they were very favorable of the contract that we negotiated for them, and they were very thankful and whatnot. And as John spoke earlier, that group and that number has grown since then, and we hope to come back in 4 years and tell you that it's grown some more. So thank you.